If you were an American Pacific shareholder yesterday, you went to bed and the company had about $2.5 million in cash and owned 29% of the Palmer project. When you wake up this morning, we have $16 million in cash and we own 100% of the 14 million ton VMS Palmer project, and we did it non-dilutively.
That is absolutely incredible, Peter. I mean, you give a score on 10, I give a 15 on 10 for this deal. I've never seen this much value created in a short period of time. And yet the stock is down, I don't know, what is it, 70, 80% from the all-time highs a couple of years ago. Yet the company has 100% of their best two assets and has more cash in the balance sheet than ever had in the history of the company. This is just a tremendous deal.
Hello, everyone. This is Peter Grandich. I always remind you, please don't treat this as investment advice. Always speak to a licensed financial advisor before making any investment decision and to read all my disclosures. Well, I'm just going to be right to the point. I've been at this 40 years. I've been in and around the financial arena. I've been on every side, from money management to capital raising to marketing. And in the worst junior resource market in 40 years, these gentlemen they've literally blown my mind this morning reading this news, and here to discuss why and why I think it's the single best thing from a deal standpoint that I've ever been involved in is the CEO of American Pacific Mining there, Warwick Schmidt, one of the board members and a key person, Jonas Lang, and their largest, I believe, single shareholder, Michael Gentili. Gentlemen, I truly say welcome to a good day.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks, Pete.
Peter.
All right, Warwick. We'll start with you. I don't know where to start, so I'll let you do it.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah, this has been something we've been working on for a few months at a pretty feverish pace. But American Pacific, if you were an American Pacific shareholder yesterday, you went to bed and the company had about $2.5 million in cash and owned 29% of the Palmer project. When you wake up this morning, we have $16 million in cash, and we own 100% of the 14 million ton VMS Palmer project, and we did it non-dilutively. So I'll let that sink in. How we were able to transact on this and the full details are we now own 100% of Palmer. We were also paid $10 million US, which equates to roughly $14 million Canadian, that comes into American Pacific. And what we gave up for that, to our partners, Doha, we're very thankful for, was 50% of an option on 50% of the zinc concentrate once this project goes into production. So we're very thankful for Doha. This was a fantastic move for American Pacific shareholders, and truthfully, the right move for Doha as well. Ultimately, what they wanted was to have an access to this zinc con, and it was great to come to conclusion with them on this in this manner. Look, it certainly puts American Pacific on very, very solid footing. With a market cap of, in the $30 million range, we now have 50% of our market cap in cash. If you look at what's happened here in just the past couple of weeks with Trump coming into prominence here, and now a Republican Senate and a Republican House, the feeling in particular for Alaska, and I'll give an example of this, is things like permitting. And these projects are going to move ahead quite rapidly. Trilogy is a great example. So Trilogy has a PEA stage project. They have $14 million in cash. And on the day after Trump was elected, their market cap doubled to $230 million. Right now, our market cap's $35 million, but we have $16 million in cash and now a 100% owned PEA stage asset as well. So I think there's some very, very bright days ahead for American Pacific.
So before I go to Michael, your shareholder, Jonas, I know you've been deeply involved in this. What you're looking at this, what should we look at today as important?
I'm just going to point this out before we continue on here, and that would be this deal does not get done without Jonas Lang's help. So Jonas, for most of you that know, is also president of American Pacific, and thrilled to have him on the team, and he was incredibly helpful through this whole process.
Yeah, I mean, a couple other things to add. This project has had significant spend. There's been $116 million US spent at Palmer since 2013. We step into this project in a unique position. This project, we first acquired Constantine with a view that this can get much, much larger. And the dynamic with Doha, again, very fixated and focused on the zinc concentrate. There wasn't as much attention paid to the exploration upside that a company like us would love to see. There are 16 VMS showings at this project. Only 4 of those are within the current resource. So going forward with consolidated ownership, that puts the project in a great position to advance quickly, whether that's us or an incoming partner down the road, really allows us to accelerate growth and create a lot of value for our shareholders.
I'll mention this as well. We paid roughly $19 million Canadian in stock for this project. Over the past 2 years, we've been paid a management fee of over $3 million. And we just been paid $14 million non-dilutively as well. So we've essentially been paid back in cash for the most part in a non-dilutive fashion. And rather than now owning 30% of the project, we own 100% of it.
That even had to make this next guy I'm going to ask a question happy because that's what I expect from a guy like him. Michael, Michael, I know you're in a lot of deals. For me, this was to read this news this morning. It took a half hour to try to comprehend it. So, what does it all mean to you? Because, not only this, you were one of the major shareholders on the original company that allowed American Pacific and all to merge. So, have you seen this from the start?
So look, Peter, I'm ecstatic today. I'm the largest shareholder of American Pacific. I was the largest share of Constantine Metals, which owned Palmer Asset before American Pacific bought it. So obviously, I love Madison quite a bit, which is the flagship asset prior today for American Pacific, and I love Palmer. The incredible work that these guys have done to create value for shareholders. Peter, I've talked a couple of interviews recently with you about how in a downturn, the smart thing to do when your market cap is depressed is not go out and do a $10 million drill program when you have a $20 million market cap, because the dilution that you get from that is just so painful that no matter what you find, you're likely to have a negative return for shareholders. So I've tasked all the teams I'm involved with that are a big shareholder. Can you guys go out and do creative M&A? And typically at the bottom of the cycles, that's the time where you get these kind of deals that can make it 30, 40, 50 times your money. And, I tell you something, I've worked closely with Warwick, and I'm not saying on the phone with Jonas, these guys work as hard as anybody I've met in the business. They're constantly grinding, looking, trying to create value. The deals you see them do, the deals you don't see them do is really important to know. They're always out there looking to create value for shareholders. They understand what markets are giving them, when it's time to drill, when it's time to raise money, when it's time to look to buy. If you look back, Peter, from January 1st of this year today, I want investors to appreciate how much value has been created at American Pacific in the last 11 to 12 months here. On January 1st, the company had about $3 million in cash and owned 30% of Madison and owned about 30% of Palmer. If you look at today, the company has, like Warwick said, $17 million in cash, owns 100% of Madison and 100% of Palmer, and the share count is essentially unchanged versus year over year. Maybe a split 20% dilution from the last financing they did. That is absolutely incredible, Peter. I mean, you give a score on 10, I give about 15 on 10 for this deal. I've never seen this much value created in a short period of time. And yet the stock is down, I don't know, what is it, 70, 80% from the all-time highs a couple of years ago. Yet the company has 100% of their best 2 assets and has more cash in the balance sheet than ever had in the history of the company. This is just a tremendous deal. Kudos to the team, to the board for getting this done. I think it's also great for Doha because it means this asset with 100% ownership can now be driven forward much more quickly. When you have a joint venture structure, it's hard to attract other players who may want to own all of it or want to move the asset forward much more quickly. With 100% ownership, it's easier to get aggressive on exploration. It's easier to find other people who want to take the steering wheel and move this thing forward. So we think we're in an amazing position to unlock further value, both at Madison with the amazing work they've done drilling this year, showing the market that there's a lot of love to give at Madison. And now we're more than fully funded to do phase 2, phase 3, phase 4 at Madison if we want to do that there. And obviously highlight the value of Palmer. Trilogy Metals, Peter, has a similar size resource to what Palmer has today. Walking around the $250 million market cap. And like I said, the Trump victory that Warwick said is a huge boon to mining in Alaska and a lot of these states that have been held up politically for years. So we've got 100% of an asset now in an environment that makes it even more valuable politically in terms of permitting and pathways to moving this thing forward. So could not be more happy and could not see more of an opportunity for remaining in a stock than I see today at American Pacific.
So Jonas and Warwick, I'm going to give you a chance to respond, but if you guys gave me, and I could think of 100 different scenarios on what could best serve the company, I would have never come up with this, even though I've been set for it. I don't think, and I can see it first, because you're going to need to tell a few people this more than once, because it could be unbelievable if it wasn't so true and so correct and done right. So Obviously, and that's going to come in the coming weeks and as we go into 2025. Warwick, what else do you think we need to know at this time?
Yeah, there is a significant point here, and that was there was sort of a divergence of views between DOA and American Pacific, where DOA really wanted to just push this towards production. When we got involved in this, we looked at it and said, okay, yeah, there's, combined, it's a 14 million ton resource. But every geologist we talked to, good geos who had worked on the project said, this has got that 50 million ounce potential. It can be big. And that's what, for us, always sort of really excited us about this project. It could become much, much larger. To that end, um, we believe this project should stand on its own, and we're already advancing discussions with groups that view this project the same way.
I don't know whether to get a cigarette, cry. But you guys, I have to say, as a significant shareholder and friends and clients that own a lot of this could end up, for me at least, the biggest story I've ever seen a junior do and be able to pull off legitimately and with so much upside now, far more than we could have ever managed beforehand. Just kudos. That's all I can say.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's gonna be a news heavy next little while. There's going to be an awful lot to talk about, and certainly more excitement to come. So both on Madison and then the future for Palmer as well. So yeah, we're thrilled with today. Um, Thank you to Michael for the comment about the hard work. You know, Partners like Jonas, it makes it a lot easier. But yeah, we're happy to be here today. $10 million US and 100% of Palmer in a trade-off for, an option on 50% of the zinc to DOA. Yeah, it's a good transaction. So we look forward to more good news coming soon.
Uh, I don't know what you can do to top it, but if there's anybody apparently that could do it, it's you guys. So I thank you all very much.
Thank you,
Thanks,
guys.
Peter. Thank you, Michael.
Thanks, Peter.